Wait Your Queer podcast would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded of the Wurundjeri people. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging, as this podcast is about storytelling, connecting with one another and empowering each other to make an impact today and a difference for the future.
This is a non-judgmental platform that tells the individual stories of our queer community. Any homophobia or abuse will be immediately reported. Welcome back to part 2 of this episode with Bailey Dunnage, aka Aubrey Haive. Please enjoy this. Part 2 is absolutely amazing, and we learn so much about drag race, reality TV culture, and Bailey tells us all about relationships and where he is now. Enjoy.
No, okay, so if we're getting in on the drag race thing, I saved a quote that you said because obviously we've both been on reality TV.
Yeah.
I have a lot of trauma from that show, which I'm sure you
I have so
also
much,
experience a lot. And
Yeah.
Also hearing yours and like you were there for 10 weeks, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I was there for we had to do quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh, so did
before. Yeah.
Don't tell me you did 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just isolated
on your own.
No.
Yeah, and then we went into filming. But they filmed Drag Race so fast. They filmed the whole thing in like 3 weeks. It's
What?
crazy. Yeah.
So you're there every single day?
Yeah, they basically filmed
tiring.
day. Every episode's basically 2 days, and they film back to back to back to back to back to back. And they give you maybe like a couple days off if you're lucky. And it's
that's
intense.
tiring.
But I was actually only there for like 3. Like I did the 2 weeks of quarantine, and then I think I was only there for like a week and a half for the filming because I wasn't there. Like I got eliminated. Spoiler: I got eliminated really early. Robbed, but
Absolutely wrong.
Honestly, I think I was telling someone this recently because I said we're having, Aubrey Haive on, and I said I actually stopped watching.
So many people say that
very early on because I did
your favorite got
on
eliminated
it, and I was like, okay, well, what's the point now? Like, I'm upset because Aubrey was robbed.
It was so bizarre. And I mean, it's okay. I just want to read this quote because it really resonated with me. And I'm going to take it to my therapist and be like, this amazing person, Brooke, said this and it helped me. So you were saying that like you weren't sure like when the right time to even do that experience is. And then you said, when you're given an opportunity, do you let it go by or do you learn from it? 100%. And I was like, oh, that's so true. Because part of me like kind of regrets going on so early in my drag journey. I wish I got to show more, but then also I learned so much from that and I don't regret it because of that. So
exactly. I could resonate so hard with that quote as well, which is why I love it.
It's beautiful.
Because when are we ever ready?
You're not. You're really not. You're never. There's never. You just got to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Life is short.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I've had loss around me recently, as I know that you have. And when you lose someone, you realize how like short life is, and it really teaches you to just like.
We could literally die tomorrow.
Exactly.
As morbid as that is.
I know, but
and like if you didn't like, what am I going to remember? Being like, oh, thank God I went to work today.
Yeah.
Thank God I like watched 3 seasons of something.
Yeah.
Maybe thank God.
Maybe maybe 4 seasons of Down Under. No, don't watch all of them. They're not worth it. Just 2 episodes, season 2. That's all you need to watch.
But I was in the exact same position as you. No media experience whatsoever.
Yeah. It's
and
scary.
So I was just like, I'm just going to take it because what do I have to lose? And look, I fucked up so much. I had no camera experience. I had no idea what I was talking about. Did not expect 10 weeks.
That is actually fast.
I was tired.
Yeah.
Like, I
it's
was
exhausting.
burnt out.
And that's how they do. That's how they get. Whenever you watch reality TV and you're like, oh my God, these people are acting crazy. It's because we are crazy. We have been locked in our rooms without our phones, no social media, not talking to anyone. Do you remember how you were in lockdown, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
It
yeah,
is.
you were crazy too. You just weren't on camera.
Plus, not being able to trust anyone.
Yeah,
And
literally. And it's a competition. You're
Yeah.
like, stakes are high. You do crazy shit. It's wild. It's wild, the environment. And unless you do it, you have no idea. And I remember, like, obviously, because I was like in the theater scene, like, I did kind of know, like, TV, being behind the camera, blah, blah, blah. It's very heightened. It's very different. I did know that, but nothing can prepare you
No.
for reality TV.
Nothing.
Like, you have to do it. It is what it is. It really is what it is. I wish that when I went on, so I think that when I auditioned, I was obviously very new. When I sent my audition in, which is it's a very intense audition. It was like, mine was 25 minutes long. They asked for so many things for you to do. I had no looks. I'd never had an outfit made for me ever before, which is kind of wild if you look at my Instagram now, because I would dare I say, very, very good fashion in drag. It's part of like my drag. It's what I love about drag. I love like making outfits now. I make it with my friend and designer Bryn. We make our stuff together. I love it. But at the time, definitely not that. I had trash retail that I'd tried to make look good, and that was my audition. So I think they watched it and went, she's a baby queen. She doesn't have good looks. We'll just send her home early. It's an easy early outer, like easy narrative, safe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a fun little, like, and she's from New Zealand. That's good because it's down under.
Yeah.
We'll get that kind of like country, like small town kind of vibe from her, and people will relate to that. But she won't, like, she'll be easy to send home early because she's new to drag. No one will be like, what the hell? Like, because she's new. Like, duh. It's
you're
okay.
saying that you think like they have it planned out before?
I believe they do. I don't even know. I mean, my NDA's over, so I don't give a fuck anymore. I didn't even speak to a producer before I went on the show.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
So they knew.
They knew
what
from
they
my
wanted
audition. They were like, we've got enough from this one. We know we don't need more because, like,
Wow.
we know what we're going to do with her.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, isn't that crazy to go on a reality show and not speak to a producer?
That's actually fucked up.
Like, the whole point is like they
is.
want to talk to you to get your energy and know if you're going to be good on screen and stuff. It doesn't matter. I wish, the only thing I do is I wish I knew that, so that when I went on, I could have just like had a bit more fun in those first. I thought I was going to be able to go far. So,
But I think that's probably why people were so shocked when you left, because everyone was like, "What?"
I want to see the journey with
It
this
didn't
person. That's what
seem-
I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see this queen just
yeah, I
take
think it
off.
would have been such a great underdog story to be like, because some of those other divas have been
Love an
doing it for
underdog.
quite a while. It's like such a like thing with the other queens. They would have been like, this bitch has been doing it for a year and she's in like top 5 now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there would have been great drama there, and it would have just been like inspiring as well. But no, they just went with like the man. And the reason people, I think, were so like up in hands about it is because like when they sent me home, I didn't even do that bad in the challenge or anything, because like I wasn't bad at drag. Like I went in so prepared. I'm a Virgo. I got the best looks I possibly could, and I like had everything planned out. I was ready to go. I went home on an acting challenge. I studied acting for 3 years. Like, I know how to act. I did really well in the
And
challenge.
you can tell because I watched it and I remember being fucking livid. I was like, why would I watch this now? I think I said to my housemate at the time, I was like, I don't think I want to watch this season.
So the way that they made it look like I was like quote unquote bad or like in the bottom was that they just cut out everything that I did. So they just put very minimal amounts of me in. And the part that they put in was I was the very, very first person to speak for that challenge on the stage in front of Michelle. First person to like run the line. Like, I had a monologue to start, and I fumbled the monologue on the first take because I was really nervous. That's the only bit they kept in. From that point on, I fumbled once, and I went to Michelle and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just nervous." And she was like, "Babe, it's so fine. You're literally the first one to be doing this. This is a new setup. You're not like, it's fine." They didn't put that in though.
Okay.
They put her being like,
So Michelle,
do better.
Can we just get a little tea on Michelle Visage?
Okay,
while
so
we're here?
No, let's go into this because I feel like we'll go through the characters next.
Well, just a little segue.
Okay.
Just a little segue about Michelle. So she is like a mum, and like literally a mum now, and very loving, very caring, and like such a good energy in the show. It's funny seeing her trajectory because she started as like that bitchy host. I reckon my theory that I've said to people is that she had kids and then watched herself on the show and went, I don't want my kids to see me being a cunt like this. And you can see when she had the kids, like her change of demeanor, like as a host, sorry, as a judge. Well, now she's a host though. And now she is like way more like caring. Oh my God, I don't know if you just heard that. I can't burp.
What the?
So, oh my God,
That's
I'm so glad we got that because I've tried. I've tried to explain this to people so many times. So I can't burp. It's this whole thing. I have like a muscle in my throat that is like always tense and it can't release to let me burp.
Oh.
You have to get Botox in it to release it and then you can burp. It's like a thing I saw it on TikTok,
Just
thank
so
God.
pain- Like,
It's really uncomfortable, bloated, and they like come out like that. And it's like
it's
that's
like
like a
flying
burp.
Yeah.
It's like a burp, but it's not a burp. It gets like stuck under my larynx, and then like the air just like kind of like gets
Yeah.
pushed out, and it's really uncomfortable. And anyway, if
Oh my
anyone else
God.
is experiencing this and has this, it is a full thing. And I saw a TikTok about it. Thank God for TikTok, hey. And yeah, if you want to get relief, you have to get like a
Oh my
Botox injection in one of
goodness.
like the muscles in your throat to release it.
sounded a little demonic on the
It
first
really
one.
is. So I hope that was really clear in the mic and y'all get to hear that. I'm so sorry.
I'm so excited to listen to that.
I know, same. I can't wait. I've been trying to get that on camera, like recording for so long, and I'm so glad we actually got it.
I'm really hoping that our mics are good enough to have
I
recorded
hope.
that.
I think that was a pretty loud one, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're not always that loud. What the fuck was I saying, Michelle?
No,
Michelle, oh, my theory, yeah. So she had kids and now she's a lot nicer and I think more like caring with like the contestants. She definitely knows how to play things up for TV though. And in the room, you can tell when she's being like being punty to like really put you on the spot to like get good stuff out of you. But it is good TV.
It is.
It is good TV and she definitely does
She's
do it.
pushed probably
She
by
knows.
production.
She's
as
pushed
well.
by and so like there was moments in that acting challenge where I could tell that she was like playing into this whole like Aubrey should be struggling thing, and like she'd say things about my performance that I'd be like, what? What? I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, I just did really good. Shut the fuck up. I'd be like, Michelle, you're joking. And she would kind of like ignore it and just keep going. And I'd be like, what are you trying to play
she
here?
knows
She
the
knew. The producers are in her ear, I feel. And actually, so me and Pamara, who were in the scene together, Pamara completely forgot like most of her lines. It was really hard to do.
I can't
like,
imagine.
which it's hard. You learn the lines like I think it's like a couple hours before you
No,
film it.
That's
It's crazy.
right.
It's really hard.
And you can't actually look at them.
No,
can you?
no,
Like,
no,
you
no.
can
You're off.
literally-
You're meant to
they're
be
not,
off
like, far
book,
away or
and
anything.
she doesn't. Like that's not her thing. She's not like I'm. Thank God I've done musical theater. I can learn lines really quickly now. So
Yeah.
I had all my lines down. I was fine, apart from the little fumble because of the nerves. You know, it happens. And I was like adding ad libs in. I had Michelle in fits at one point,
Yeah.
and all cut. All of it cut out at the time. So they gave us a day off because they edit it all and they put it kind of like a rough edit together and they show it to us before we do the runway the next day for filming.
They show you.
They
what
show
they're
you the
gonna
rough
air.
edit of of how it went so that you can kind of be like
I get you.
realistic about when you're on the runway
Yeah.
so that they kind of know. We watched it back and I knew immediately. I was like, I'm going home. I was like, I knew they'd already cut all of it out. They cut even more out for the actual episode. At the time, they kept a few bits in, and it was funny. But all of my teammates literally looked at me and went, they did that. It's the bubbles. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry. I hate it. They all looked at me.
They're ripper dippers when they come.
Oh, your
I'm a
burps?
burper.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Burp.
I'm gonna be so jealous.
Not often, but like I can burp loud.
That's impressive. For me, that's very impressive.
I guess so.
Yeah, you're showing me up. What the hell? They all looked at me and were like, "Babe, they cut all of your stuff. What the fuck?" Then I had a little mishap on the runway, which didn't help. A reveal that I wanted to do didn't work. It's because they don't give you any time to like reset the reveal backstage. You just have to. So you do the runway twice. I did it the first time, and it was kind of. They made me use the Samsung phone that was like part of like the sponsor. And I had this like prop phone that was like really easy to open. It was like a little like old like flip phone.
Yeah.
And they were like, we can't let you use that because you can't have phones, blah blah blah, whatever. And they were like, we want you to use the Samsung, you know, those new Samsung flip phones that are disgusting and no one likes. I don't know who uses them. They got the crease in the middle.
No, I hate
They are
it.
so hard to flick open. They're really stiff. They're not like the old flip phones where you just give them a little flick and they basically flip
Yeah.
open for you.
This is what sort
I
of
had
that
nails on, not used to wearing nails. I'm new to drag.
Yeah.
Trying to flip that fucking phone on the runway in front of Rupaul. I was like, I can't get this phone open to do my like bit on the phone. Ha ha ha. And I was like fumbling. I was like, fuck. What am I doing? What am I doing? And then did the reveal, couldn't find the thing. It was like fumbled so much. Fuck. And then we had to reset the wings that I did. They didn't give us enough time. I can't reset it because I'm wearing the outfit. So I had to get other people to do it. And they didn't do it like well enough. And the wing just like fell out halfway through when I was walking when it wasn't meant to. It was
You know
like
what?
a mess.
It's
It was
so
a mess.
good to know this backstory from a viewing perspective, though, because
Yeah.
everyone goes, oh, like they put, their spin on it,
Totally.
Yeah.
and not hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
And we've
it's
said that too.
hard. It was really stressful, and I knew that I kind of fumbled, and I was like, fuck, I should have just worn the outfit, didn't need to do all the reveals. But at the time, I was really like, oh my God, I wanted to like do the best. I wanted to like show that like I really think things through. That was the kind of drag that I liked, and
Yeah.
it just didn't work out for me. I didn't have enough time to practice it. Anyway, they were actually very generous with the edit, to be honest. It could have been
I
edited.
feel like you got a lot of airtime.
I did, and they could have been a lot worse with that runway. They could have shown it really fumbling and like some crazy stuff, but they did cut it. They showed just a little bit of the fumbling with the wings, and I really appreciated that. I did speak to them, and I was like, I had a lot of anxiety about like that episode coming out because I felt really embarrassed, and I was like, please, can you like. I explained to them that like the wings didn't get rolled up properly because of production at the back, and like not their fault either. I just didn't think about the fact that someone would have to do that again, and it was a very very difficult thing to get right. And so
Putting
they
them in
were
the
like
hands of
they were
someone
very
else.
generous, and they were like, no, we won't show that because that's not your fault, and we don't want to show you in that way. And I was like, thank God.
That's nice.
But obviously still went home, and you know what, like it was fine, but I just wish I got to show a little bit more. I'm hoping for a call maybe for another season would be cool
Oh my
to
God,
do.
Rupaul, if you're
please.
listening.
Yeah,
Like,
which obviously he is.
I think he will be.
Yeah.
But like, I think you were a fan favorite, so
Yeah.
it would be very in your like
Thank
jurisdiction
you.
to come
I
back
have a
around,
lot of
100%.
like imposter syndrome still from that, but I enjoyed the experience, and like I'm happy with what I've done outside of drag now. Like after Drag Race, I think it did help a lot. It was definitely a shortcut into a drag career, which honestly, like, very thankful for. A lot of the divas I know are like, that fucking bitch. Like, after a year of doing drag, went on Drag Race, that lucky bitch.
It just
And
says how talented you are and
You're
how
going to take that.
Yeah.
Like we
And-
said, you're not going to just let that go by.
I worked for it. I worked really hard. I put in the effort.
your
But
whole
COVID
life.
sped things up too. So
It
so
did.
But
It did.
COVID 6 months.
Yeah.
Practicing that is like 2 years.
It
or
truly
2 or
was.
3
Like, I
years.
had nothing else to do, so it was really
And
helpful.
you can't say you didn't work for it because you
Yeah.
were studying musical theatre,
Yeah.
which is technically a laneway into that.
Oh, yeah.
Really, you worked your whole life.
I
for that.
have.
Don't say you haven't worked for it.
And that's
Yeah.
where, like, for drag for me, like, I do really love it because it does give me that outlet. And I actually wanted to talk about getting back into, like, queerness now. So, like, gender expression for me is, like, really interesting. I think I said earlier about, like, fluidity and being
Is
able
this
to
the
have.
reveal that we've been waiting for?
So,
in suspense.
Yeah,
thing?
like truly with my sexuality. So as I've been like exploring my queerness, when I actually so I watched Resident Evil recently. Have you watched it?
It's an old movie.
It's old. But the last movie, Ruby Rose is in it.
Stop
So
it. She was.
I forgot about this in my journey of like queer discovery. I was obsessed with Ruby
Oh my
Rose.
God, same.
When I like first like came out through uni, I used to follow her and like was just like obsessed with her. And I've been obsessed with a lot of like mask lesbians back in my day. And I think, like, as I've been, like, realizing by the way, my partner, so Vin and I broke up, fell out of love. It was fine. We're
Yeah.
best friends. We still live together. Very lesbian coded.
That is. I love it.
And we're
You're
like
lesbian.
no, this is where I'm getting to.
Go
I
on.
mean, technically, well, obviously, I use he him pronouns, so I'm not a lesbian, but
Yes.
I am very lesbian coded, is what
Yeah.
I say. And so Vin and I are still best friends. We live together. Honestly, amazing. And like, he is my best friend. We dated for 3 years. It was great. And now we're just friends. I have a new partner now. He is trans mask, and we get together, like, get along so well. We've been dating for about a year now. And it's funny because obviously, like, part of his life, he was a lesbian, I guess you could say,
Wow.
because, like, trans mask. And he's very, like, open and talks about it, and, like, how, like, his experience with his journey of queerness is, like, like, very much being a lesbian at part of his life was part of his life, and now he's trans mask.
We need to get Ash on the podcast.
We actually do. He would love that.
Yes.
He really wants to do podcasts and stuff.
Okay.
Please get him
We'll
on.
do a couples one.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be so cute.
I love that.
Stop, that's gonna be so cute.
God, we're gonna need
So-
part 3 and 4.
Oh my
here.
god, guys, there's just so much to talk about.
So much, and I'm loving it.
So, like,
Do an Aubrey Haive month.
yeah, I'm obsessed. I love it. And so I watched that recently, and there's been, like, a lot of times where, like, so even when I came out, I was like, I think I'm bi because I'm still attracted to, like, some like females. And I was, like, kind of, like, confused about it. I was like, I don't know what the term is, what the label is. And, like, in the recent few, like, months, I've been, like, thinking about it more and talking about like with Ash and stuff. And, like, obviously I'm gay, like, I'm very gay and I'm very mask leaning. I think what I'm attracted to is, like, maskness, in terms of, like, not in particular to any gender, like, in particular, but just, like, the expression of being masked is what I'm into. So, like, I don't know, can I say about, like, when we went clubbing?
Yeah, we had a little.
Yeah, we had, like, a little
kiss.
fling. We had, like, a little kiss.
I have heard about this.
Yeah, so when Alyssa and I met, we were out clubbing, and Alyssa was really hot in the club, and we had, like, a little kiss. Yeah.
But I thought we were just having a fun kiss.
I mean, we
It was-
were. No,
like,
we were, but also I thought
Okay,
that you were
let's
super
confirm things,
attractive.
please.
I was, like, super into you, and that I, like, it was, like, a fun kiss, but it was because I thought you were really hot.
Okay, I'm
So-
really, like, blushing. I
I
like-
know.
I feel like that's really nice.
And I'm fucking
Yeah.
sweating.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and this is the thing, like, I think I've realized that, like, I'm attracted to maskness, like, irrelevant of, like, what your gender is. It's just
Yeah.
how you express it. And also, it's not mask in the terms of, like gym bro, like, "Whoa,"
Mm.
that actually scares me. But I think it's, like, queer maskness,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah,
The
yeah.
expression of, like, would you, like, how do you describe yourself in terms of, like, on the spectrum of, like, would you say sometimes, like, mask leaning?
Yeah, I mean, Brooke, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had so many conversations about this because I
Mm.
feel that you present mask, but
Yeah.
emotionally, Alyssa's actually quite feminine.
Yeah. Which is,
Which
like,
is really interesting.
totally its own thing as well. And when I say this is why it's so, like, conflicting, because, like, emotionally I'm very feminine emotional, but I think I just, like, I like attractiveness wise, I am attracted to,
Appearance-wise,
like,
yeah.
masculinity as an expression, as a style.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, like, that's why, like, when I was coming out, like, I was really obsessed with, like, Ruby Rose, because, like, very, like, masculine lesbian
Yes.
vibe. So I don't know, it's like a journey for me at the moment. I'm trying to figure it out because it's always been there. And, like, I would get with girls, like, I'm not opposed to that. I think I'm pansexual in that way,
Yeah.
but it is definitely more leaning towards, like, maskness in
Yeah.
terms of that. I think kind of because femininity for me is, like, in my drag. Do you know what I mean? And so, like,
Mm.
I think and it's part of my work now. So, like, I love femininity, obviously. I
Mm.
love gorgeous women.
Mm.
That's, like,
Be a bit feminine sometimes. You can be a bit masculine.
yeah.
And
Androgyny is like the expression of clothing.
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
I think.
This is the thing, like, as well with, like, being, like, pansexual or bisexual.
Yeah.
And with like non-binary people, like I'm attracted to like mask-leaning non-binary people because I like the masculinity. Now,
Yes.
masculinity is like irrelevant of gender.
Mm.
It's an expression of like what you want to like present.
Exactly.
And it's like such a like interesting thing at the moment of like trying to navigate.
People out there who are saying, why do we have masculine and feminine?
Yeah.
How do we break that? But do you think that we should be breaking that? Or do you think it is just expression?
Well, this could be a great, like, this could be our question,
It
maybe.
could be.
Could be.
I did have another one, but
Yeah.
I do like this. And
Yeah.
this was on my list of maybe questions that, you know, we could explore. So, like, do we need masculine and feminine, and does it help us? I feel like masculine and feminine is more of like a blanket term, right? For in the same way, like labels, you have like blanket label or umbrella labels that are like encapsulate, is that the word?
Encapsulate.
Yeah, that's a word, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of different things within it. So I feel like masculine and feminine is kind of an umbrella term in that way as well. There's a lot of different varieties of femininity and masculinity, and then there's something in the middle as well.
Yeah.
So totally, I'm like, is it helpful? I don't know.
I think it's the only time it's unhelpful is when like you're referring to a same-sex couple relationship and you
Yeah.
say who's the mask and who's the femme.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, well, the point of a same-sex relationship is the fact that there isn't a male or a female. And I understand that it's a vibe rather
Yeah.
than a gender, but that's when it's kind of like, well, we're just people.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yes.
don't know.
Like,
Maybe that's where the breaking of the stigma is, because I know that like
I
it comes
agree.
from society. Once
Yeah.
again, man, woman,
Traditional.
the Bible,
Yeah.
all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
religious studies,
Yeah.
that there has to be a
A
male and a
masculine and
female
a feminine. That's
in the
it.
relationship.
Yeah.
And that's where we essentially still perceive, you know, that kind of image in those relationships. you know?
Totally. And like, I mean, I'm a bit conflicted with my gender in general anyway, because like I don't feel like I'm completely masculine or feminine or anything anyway at any given time. It's a
Yeah.
fucking spectrum.
So have I. Literally, I feel like when we've gone clubbing and like we've had a few drinks, I always end up in the bathroom like I'm just like trying to figure out who I am.
Yeah, because it's hard
Yeah.
and you feel like there is a little bit of pressure within the community sometimes to like choose one or the other. I've floated the idea of like non-binary for myself, but I don't know, like I find it I just don't, there's something about it that I don't it doesn't feel right for me.
Resonate with
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Because when I think it's because of the drag thing. Like when I'm in drag, I am very feminine. And when I'm out of drag, I think I resonate and feel more comfortable presenting masculine styles and things. But then I also love like fucking with that and wearing like stuff that's not like traditionally
Oh, yeah.
masculine or not traditionally feminine. So I don't know. It's hard.
I know.
And this is why I don't like the labels, because like I just want to do what feels good. You
Oh,
know?
sorry.
We
You
both
go.
took an inhale.
Yeah.
At the same
Story of our
time.
lives. But do you feel like, for instance, there is that pressure as well that comes from Aubrey Haive, from the
Yes.
public?
Yeah.
Because I certainly
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
being on The Bachelor, I mean, there's fans out there who
Yeah,
essentially
they
want me to
expect
marry
a
a man.
certain
Like,
thing from you.
you know, and I guess coming out when I finished the show and I started exploring girls,
Mhm.
I felt so much pressure that I have to uphold that
Yeah.
image of just being with men. And so
Yeah.
I was freaking out about dating girls
Yeah, of
essentially, because I was
course.
like, oh my God, people are going to absolutely hate me now.
Yeah.
But it, like you were saying, it's just the spectrum.
It-
And
I think like we need to just like embrace what we feel on the inside and try not to like overthink it too
Yeah.
much. But I understand that like these labels do help us to understand these things and like feel like part of the community and identify with certain parts of the community. I totally get it and it is great. But I just want to like what feels good in the moment,
And
right?
that's all it ever
Love it.
should be. There shouldn't be
Yeah.
expectation. And in my dystopian world that I want to
Yeah,
create one day,
I'm there with
we
you.
all just come in as like
Yeah.
genderless
Yeah.
aliens
Yeah.
almost.
Hot.
And we
Hot.
just do what
Love
feels good.
this. I
Like, that's
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I mean, obviously my name is like a reference to Austin Powers. Have you watched
Yeah.
Austin Powers?
Oh,
Yes.
behave.
Oh, Behave. And like when they like in Austin Powers, they talk about like he's like talking about the 60s and how they're like, we just shag whoever we want, baby. You know, like, and we're like, they take
Groovy,
drugs,
baby.
groovy, baby. Like everything is just
Yeah.
like about being free and just doing whatever you want. Like I kind of loved that, and like that's why I resonate with it also as well with my drag. Obviously, love the campness of that kind of style of drag of 60s. It's very theatrical, very campy, but also it resonates with that like freeness of expression and stuff that I kind of inherently feel like I've always had in me. It's taken me a while to like get there on the journey. I'm still on it. We always are.
You'll never end.
It never ends. And like I was really excited to do this pod because I feel like even on Drag Race or even just with my drag sometimes in general, as you were saying, there's a very certain like image that people see of Aubrey, but like part of me also is this like very queer person. I like doing androgynous drag sometimes. I did like a shoot the other day that I've been wanting to do. I used to have a very long mullet, which I've cut off now. We're onto a little short, like modest mullet now.
Modest mullet.
But that mullet for
Some might
me
say
was like a
humble.
gender expression. It felt really good to have like the long hair. I liked that, and I like that mullets and history with queerness, like David Bowie, have always been a bit of a gender fuckery as well. And I really loved that about it. I did this shoot where I was like very like androgynous. I had makeup on, but it was kind of like just like it wasn't like feminine or masculine. But I had my body out and it was like I worked out a lot for that shoot. I had a very masculine body at the time, which I liked, and I just loved playing with that. So like I was excited to come on here and be able to talk about that side of my queerness that, you know, I don't always show in my drag because for me, drag is a way of me expressing my hyper feminine side that I love. And I get to do it in that. And then I get to take that off and I get to be this Bailey that, you know, when I'm out of drag, I like to just wear clothes that are not close to the body because I just want to like feel comfortable.
And that's actually how I feel a lot of the time too, don't I? Like sometimes I'll dress up with my beautiful dresses, my heels, but then when I put a pair of pants on and
you're like,
little
oh yeah,
That is
graffiti top,
true.
I feel like freed
Yeah.
a little bit. Like
truly.
like,
And
oh, it feels so
it's
good.
because, as RuPaul says, we are all born naked and the rest is in fact drag. And when you get dressed up like that, that's essentially drag. It truly is. And
You're right.
and like that's why when they have like the makeover challenges and things and they make over like people that haven't done drag before, even they feel like that superpower. They feel like I just watched last night the new episode of UK. They did the makeover challenge. I cried my eyes out. It was really beautiful. If you have not watched that season, highly recommend that episode. I think it's episode 8 now. The makeover challenge UK season 5, I think it is 6. I don't know. Anyway, really beautiful. And RuPaul talks about like, the superpower of drag and how when you put that stuff on, it changes you. It really changes you. But we do that as humans every day when we go out in the world and you put on that beautiful dress. It makes you feel really cunt. You put on the heels that make you feel like a different person. You feel more powerful. Or it could be the opposite. Maybe
I feel
you're
like it's the opposite for me,
Yeah.
just because I
Of the
mean, straight
expectation.
world as
Yeah.
well, like dresses,
Yeah.
heels, all such a big thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I wear a pair of pants,
Yeah,
for
you
instance,
feel
around a lot
powerful.
of my straight friends, they'd all just be
Yeah.
like, "Oh wow, like you're dressed so different today," you know, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But I actually feel so powerful.
Yeah.
when I
It
wear,
works both ways.
when I wear my runners and
Yeah.
just like my flares.
My
and
journey
stuff.
went from like originally I was a dressy gal when I was younger, like 20s. Then I went into like full blown all the time pants kind of gal.
Yeah.
Because it was so addictive, that feeling of the powerfulness and like just breaking it. And every
Yeah.
time I'd
But
wear
also-
that, people would look and I was like, like I feel
Yeah,
fucking
fuck that.
But also
confident.
it's like norms.
Yeah.
Once again, it's norms. It's like parents, you know, thinking like, oh, their style's changing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, you know, are they becoming more lesbian or something?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's like it's all like it really comes down to like the fact that like fashion is part of gender expression. It's part of drag in a way of putting something else on that gives you makes you feel a different way, that gives you like affirmation, or like you feel affirmed in your gender, or you feel euphoric in the way that you're expressing yourself in that moment. It is really powerful, and that's why I think we love drag in a way, is because you see that in such a heightened form. Obviously, it's like the most extra way of doing it, but that's why you love it. And I had this really beautiful guy that I used to work with. I worked at like an advertising agency for a little while, which was really fun. And he was very straight, but he loved Drag Race, and he was like a very like effeminate straight man, but he would talk about the reason he loved watching Drag Race is because he had that kind of side to himself that he loved to like express femininity and like fashion and things. And he felt like kind of like restricted as a straight man to be able to express that. And so he kind of watched drag in a way that he was like, he felt really inspired, but living vicariously through drag queens and drag performers to feel like really in touch and connected with fashion in that way. And he would wear he wore like a skirt, I think, to the Christmas party because we were like, let's dress up together. And it was really beautiful.
See, that to me is a like non-toxic man that just like
we need more.
And like it goes to show that yes, we have a lot of expectations as queer people, and how we're trying to navigate that, but so do straight people. Like they don't know how as well to express other sides other than the straight side.
Exactly. And then it like comes into this world of like, are we all a little bit like queer then? And like, do you know what I mean? Like if you are expressing yourself in that way, because it's like a gender expression as well. It's like, what really, all these labels that we put on each other really are so sometimes detrimental.
I
They're
also
really
feel like they're a bit of a band-aid too. Like for instance, with this straight male that you're talking about, it's almost just a band-aid putting on you're a straight male. When really he wants to express
and be a bit feminine. But he can be feminine and be straight, but then also he doesn't have to be straight and being straight doesn't mean you have to be masculine, but also doesn't mean that if you're feminine, you're gay. But then
there's such definite terms.
Too many, and I feel like it's such a spectrum. But it's really hard because when you're like figuring this shit out, you need these things to like help like understand and you explore things, and it's good.
Part of a community.
But it really is. I love your idea of this dystopian world where we're like all just genderless. I think we need to start that.
Should we all go now somewhere and just like get healed somewhere?
My God, let's go off the grid.
We should.
The podcast is ending. Sorry.
Farm or something.
We'll go to his farm. Honestly, I live with basically 2 exes technically, so wouldn't be unlike me to live with another ex. So.
Cult.
We kind of are. It kind of is getting a bit culty, isn't it? It is. Yeah, people are like, what is going on? They've had too many mimosas.
No, we need the refill.
Honestly.
We need another refill.
They've finished it. I need mine. Hold up.
Okay.
I'm going to take let's have a drink break, right?
Okay, let's have a drink break. But just before we do though, remember that man we met on that cruise ship? And he was, how old was he? This just goes so hand in hand with what you were just saying about straight male who was living vicariously through drag.
Yeah.
So we met this a lot older gentleman, wasn't he?
He probably would have been 70s with his wife on the cruise. And there was this night where
Alyssa and I. And we were actually quite nervous going on this cruise because it was a lot older Americans, I'd say in the 60s, 70s.
Right.
And we were so lucky to go on this cruise because Alyssa knows the director. And she was like, you're in Europe, like jump on this Iceland cruise for 11 days. I'll give you like premium like treatment kind of thing.
Gorge.
This guy one night came up to us and was dancing with us. And we were all like, oh, because he was dancing very like, you can't see me, but like femme shoulders.
Yeah, lots of shoulders going on.
Holding our hands.
Lots of wrists flicking.
Twirling us around and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next few nights he really resonated with us. He kept coming up to us and talking to us. And then one night he came over and he goes, I just feel really comfortable with you girls, and I want to share something with you that I haven't been able to share with a lot of people. But I am he called the term cross-dresser.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And he said...
Which is a full thing.
And then the next night he came and brought us photos of his community and like his
Yeah.
cross-dressing lifestyle.
Yeah.
But and so we were like, oh, like, are you queer? Like,
Yeah.
because that for us was
True.
And he goes, no, I'm married to my wife who I love,
Yeah.
but I also love expressing this side of myself. And
It's so interesting with the cross-dressing thing because it comes from a place of like, secrecy and shame, unfortunately, and like especially for people of that generation. And it's quite common for you, like obviously, I mean, if anyone who is on Grindr or whatever has been on the apps, sometimes there are people that they say CD, they're cross-dressers, and they're seeking other cross-dressers. It's like totally a part of the community.
yeah,
But it does, unfortunately, I feel like generally comes from a place of, because of the queer community, comes from a place of shame generally. There's a lot of shame behind cross-dressing because of the society that we lived in and they grew up in. And so, yeah, it is kind of like, did you hear that? I was trying to ignore it. If anyone heard that, it's going to keep happening and you're just going to have to deal with it. But yeah, because it comes from a place, like it is a secrecy thing, but then also it is just a way for him to express his femininity through fashion. And that's totally cool.
Isn't that fantastic for an older man to be able to acknowledge that he wants to do that?
It's
We
beautiful.
loved it, didn't we? I'm not sure the wife was really into it.
She was embarrassed.
She was embarrassed.
And see,
yeah.
that's the part that I hate about
Yeah,
it because
yeah.
I'm like, babe, let him
And he
live.
loves you.
He loves you and genuinely loves you. I'm sure this is like you've been married and it's possible to have both. It's possible to
is.
have all of these things in one
Yes.
human being because we are all complex humans who have so many different things about us that make up who we are. That's why we're fucking cool and like humans are amazing.
I think we're cool.
I think you're really cool.
Didn't think I was cool enough to be in the band.
Job. So
yeah. Okay, let's take a drinks break.
Yeah, drinks break. Like Angel. Okay, so what you've missed is we went and filled up our drinks, and they're definitely kicking in. And we've been talking about gay and TV series and stuff. So I said that I need to watch the L Word, which I definitely do. And I was saying to these two that they have to watch Buffy.
That's our trade.
Yeah, that's our trade. I'm trading Buffy for the L Word, and we're gonna take notes later. But we were just talking about how vampires are so queer.
Oh, so queer.
So queer.
So androgynous.
Yeah, very.
Especially what's her name? What's
Oh,
the main character?
fuck, what's her name? What's
Jennifer something?
Jennifer Coolidge? No.
It was always Jennifer.
No, fuck, I always forget her name.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes.
Yes.
And
so
she's so
hot.
fucking hot.
This is what I mean, like
Oh my god,
obsessed.
Yes,
She's
so
so hot.
gorgeous.
And the gal that comes in later,
Yes.
what's her name? That's actually, this is a great segue because it relates to what I wanted to talk about, like a bit with the Ruby Rose thing.
Yeah.
Is what was her name? It's Doge or something.
I can't remember.
Fuck,
Yeah.
what's her name? She's in
We'll Google it.
She was in Bring It On. She's in Bring It On.
Oh,
Girl.
The brunette.
the lesbian girl in Bring It On.
She's like very like
but she's
like
lesbian.
edgy
Yeah,
vibes.
She's
She's
just
like
edgy,
the
alternative.
and she's in like The New Guy. If anyone
She
ever
does the
watched
flips
that,
in Bring It On.
All I can see in my head
She's
is
so
the girl
hot.
who was in Stick It. It's not her.
I don't. We should Google. Wait.
No, I feel like you.
Let me
know.
Google. Let me
you
Google.
know.
Let me Google.
Bring It On.
I'm gonna go Bring It On cast.
Yeah.
Because
And
it'll
then-
come up. Eliza Dushku, is that how you say it? I don't know. But Eliza, anyway, she's so hot. And she was like also like when I was growing up, I was like, I'm so attracted to her. I think
Wow.
she's still pretty like femme, definitely like edgy, kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know, like there's a mask energy
It's
about
like a
her.
confident
It's like a mask
energy.
energy that's
Yeah.
like fuck the world, like ugh, like it's kind of, and I like that energy. So that's what I was saying about my sexuality. It's like just I just don't know. It's a journey right now. I'm figuring it out. And yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm in a relationship now. He's transmasc, Ash, and we are so in love.
Yay.
And actually, we met on Hinge, another Hinge love story. So Vin was also Hinge. So I've had great success on Hinge.
Hinge, are you listening
Hinge,
to
hit me
this?
up.
Like,
Honestly, I
seriously.
need to do some
Hinge, hit us
promo.
up.
Yeah, all of us. We'll get you on the pod.
We did do a little promo for Hinge.
Yeah, I heard it because you've had some good Hinge stories, right?
Yeah.
In the past, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like actually Hinge is like not a bad dating app.
It's actually pretty good. It does have a bit of a stigma at the moment of being those really like very Melbourne hipster gay or hipster guys.
Yeah.
And so they're a little bit they're definitely like, oh, let me play guitar for you. Like that kind of vibe.
Where are you?
Yeah, where are you?
So sorry.
And like they'll be like, "Oh, do you like my record collection?" Like that kind of vibe.
And I'd be like, yes,
I don't know
do.
why they're like American, but whatever. It's just
Only
that vibe.
Americans on Hinge.
Yeah, truly. Anyway, so with my partner Ash now, we went on like our first date like a year, almost just over a year ago now, and immediately like hit it off, and it was like one of those. It was so we were so lesbian coded. We were like in love immediately. But we tried to play. We played it so cool. We did really well. We didn't say "I love you" like straight away, even though we both
How
literally
long did
wanted.
it take?
I think we actually because we like talked about it. We're like, I feel like in relationships, like it's like there's like this rule of like 3 months, right? Like you don't say "I love you" with like after 3 months. As soon as it hit 3 months, we were like, "I love you"
On the day.
like
thank
low
God.
key. We actually it was like it very much was like that, but we would just say for like the first part of the relationships, we were like, I really like you. Like I really like you. And we were too shy and too nervous to say I love you because it's like a scary thing and
It's huge. And it's also hard to determine between lust and love in those beginning
true.
stages.
And it was very much that we were like obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
We still are. So
I'm sorry.
hot.
I like that you held
You did
us
it straight
closer.
into the mic.
Was that ASMR?
That's
There's mine. I challenge you with my non-burp.
Challenge you to a duel.
Yeah, a burp off. It's just so funny. I'm so glad that this has finally made it into a podcast because honestly, if anyone relates to this burp thing that I have, you'll know how annoying and painful it is. And so just know that I just had one just then. Just know that you're not alone. So yeah,
This is a
we
safe space.
it really oh my god, they're really bad. It's the bubbles. I should have told you. I knew it was gonna happen, but
Did you want it to
I
happen?
kinda did.
Yeah, I thought so.
I wanted inclusivity. I wanted people who feel like they can't burp to be represented. So it's such a safe space. So yeah, we met. It was beautiful. Hit it off right away. He is amazing, and just like we fit together perfectly. He's super creative. He's really communicative, which we were talking about earlier. We talk about everything. We're very open, and we're actually in an open relationship as well, which I thought would be a fun thing to talk about because there's like a lot of also I think a lot of stigma around like open relationships. Now, so actually my last partner, Vin, and I went away for work. I got a gig over in New Zealand and I was away for 4 months doing that. And oh my God, stop. The burps are so bad. At the time we were like, oh, maybe we should be open and because we're away from each other for a long time. And when we were apart from each other, I think he sort of like, because he was still in Melbourne and I was in Christchurch, which is very close to Timaru where I grew up. And it's a very conservative place. It's quiet. There's no gays.
Yeah.
You can basically go through the whole of Grindr. The whole grid is basically the whole South Island in one scroll. It's crazy. So there's like not a lot there for me to explore with my openness anyway. And he was having the time of his life back here in Melbourne.
Oh my God,
And I think he realized that he kind of wanted to be kind of a bit single again and like explore that and that, just wasn't totally like attracted to my energy anymore. And it was hard, but it was also, I totally understood and we talked about it. And it was fun.
And it's that open
and it worked.
communication, isn't it?
So unfortunately we went, it's that classic thing of like that people say when you're like, oh, having troubles in the relationship. So you go open and then it ruins everything and blah, you break up. It totally wasn't that. We went open not because we were in a bad place by any means. We were just apart from each other and we wanted to explore that. We talked about it a lot throughout the relationship anyway. We were kind of always kind of like, open to like the idea. We just wanted to find the right person. I think at the time we were more like thinking about like, threesomes and stuff like that. So anyway, we went open. It didn't work.
And is this with girls? Is this with like guys?
Probably mainly just guys at that time.
Nice.
Because I still hadn't really explored anything on that front at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then it didn't work and we broke up, and it was hard for me. He I think had kind of come to terms with it a bit earlier than I had, if you know what I mean. It's like
There
that
is
kind of
always,
that always
like, I think,
happens.
one that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, that
thinks
kind of
about
like
it, and you're always either that one or the other one.
yeah, and like when it's not working, it's okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't, you know, like we need to stop.
Just accept it.
We need to stop being extremists with this stuff where if it's not working, it's like it's over and it's the end and we can't talk to each other and it's gone. We were like, okay, this sucks. I was really hurt. It took me a while to get through it, but I love this person and we had shared 3 amazing years together and we were like best friends and we always were kind of best friends. We obviously sexually we were doing stuff. It was great as well, but I did feel it started to teeter off in a bit in the end. Sorry, Vin, if this is TMI and you don't want too late, it's on the pod. But I feel like we talk about this stuff all the time, so it should be chill. And then
And speaking about it so kindly.
yeah,
as
and
well.
I think it's important to hear these things because there is a lot of things with like when breakups happen that, and look, honestly, sometimes people are fucking cunts and they deserve to be cut off and don't talk to them. They're toxic. This was not that. And we were best friends and we were like, I don't want to lose you. Can we continue being friends? And we did. It took a while. Well, I say that we literally still lived together and then we moved to a new house together, but we moved into separate rooms and we share a drag room because we both do drag. So it's financially helpful for us. But also we knew that we were like so close and we get along so fucking well.
So why does it have to be this end of world? I'm blocking you, never speaking to you
Exactly.
again? You have a connection. Obviously, you spent 3 years
Yeah.
together. We should normalize.
You know, it's
that.
fucking good.
It comes once again from those societal norms.
Yeah.
Where you see it on the movies.
Yeah.
We have to break up.
Yeah, we have to break
and then
up.
you just don't speak, and then that person
It
moves on. And it's
sucks.
it doesn't have to be like
It's
that.
really like hard because like you've just spent 3 whole years building that relationship. And if you cut that shit off, it feels like you just wasted that. Like obviously you didn't, but it feels like, well, fuck.
But
Now
it
what?
ruins the memory of it as well.
Yeah,
because,
it taints it.
like, I was dating someone for 3 years and I wanted to continue a friendship
Yeah.
and we didn't on her terms. And I struggle to now remember things about it because it's just closed
Yeah, you
door, done, goodbye.
And that happens. That's how our brains work. It's a like I feel like it's a safety mechanism. We just go, well,
Out of
that's
sight,
out of sight.
mind.
Yeah, very that. So I'm very glad we still live together. It took a little while, obviously, to like get over each other. We had like some rules in place because we were still living together in separate rooms that like we wouldn't have people over at our house because it was like, you know, still feeling like things of jealousy because, you know, you just naturally, that's what happens.
So normal.
We were very communicative about it and we would like, I'd be like, hey, how are you feeling about me having someone over? And he was like, actually, I think I'd be okay with that now. And I was like, cool. And then vice versa. And then we just sort of, it just like, you know, you just, as humans do, time heals wounds, time heals everything.
Yeah.
And you just, we came to a place where we were like, cool.
That's so much.
We're good now.
So
Thank you.
mature.
Yeah. Yeah. And it definitely, it came from like learning from like past relationships and stuff. And then meeting Ash, we were both in like the perfect place after all of this and like what we'd learned from other relationships, both of us, and where we were as people at the time. We just connected and it was like perfect. It was like perfect timing,
Right
stars
place,
aligned.
right time. Yep.
It was perfect, and we've been together, like a year now. Now we started the relationship with the intent of being open. When we first started, we were like,
That's
okay,
how we started too.
yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah, we
Did we?
what?
Oh, shut up! That was good. That was really good.
We started our relationship with the intent of not having a relationship because
Yeah.
both of us weren't in a place to be
A-
in a relationship.
And that's kind of where we started as well.
Mm.
Because at the time I was like, I'd just come out of it was still pretty fresh after
Yeah.
Vin. I was like, I don't want another relationship right now. And we both said that to each other on the first date,
That was
which is
us.
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So we did sort of have this idea of, but then obviously the
You
connection
really
grows
like
and you
each other.
can't
Yeah.
deny
You
it.
can't-
And so, yeah,
Be
we,
like, are
we,
you free tomorrow?
yeah, obsessed with each other.
How
Wanted
long
to
did your
spend,
first date go for? Was it
oh,
like 3 years?
it was fucking ages. And then like, we just would like hang out all the time. Like it was just like very lesbian coded.
I'm going to just side note. I'm going to Adelaide for Christmas this year.
Mhm.
And I will be without Brooke for 3 days. And I think in the
It's gonna
time
be
that
hard.
we've been together,
You haven't even had
in
that.
2.5 years, I think that'll be the longest we've ever
It's
not
the
been
longest.
together.
It's gonna be hard, but you'll be okay.
It's going
I
to be
promise.
really, really hard.
We
I'm
actually
excited.
we don't have long left, but I'll try and wrap shit up
Yeah.
nice and
Yeah.
quickly. So we started the relationship with the intent of being open. Ash had like explored being open. Also, Ash was only, I think, since we've met, maybe like 2, 3, or 4 years into being trans and trans mask. So new to being, and when he came out, he noticed that he was very gay now, and he was a guy and that was attracted to other guys. Obviously, before that was like more lesbian, was like exploring stuff with women. So they had started like exploring being a fag and like was on the apps, totally just like hooking up,
Interesting transition
big
because
hookup culture.
they actually have that storyline
Yeah.
in the L Word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
common. I think it's a part of like taking testosterone. It changes it just changes things. And that was part of his journey. And he was like, so he was still very much, he'd done it for a while at that point when we met. Like he'd gone through his hoe phase of like really sleeping around and sort of was like, but I really do enjoy sleeping with other people. And I was like, I've been open with openness in my past relationship, and I think that would work for us. So we went into the relationship still being open. It has been like being open it's hard. It is hard. You have to communicate so
Yeah.
much.
Yep.
And there's different ways of doing it. There's so many resources out there now, thankfully, about being open and how you can navigate it for you. It can be really beautiful. And now so the fun thing about testosterone when you're on it, it makes you super horny. It just does. Like it just makes people.
Expect that.
It makes you
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting
super
expecting
horny.
a
So definitely super horny. If you speak to any people who are on testosterone,
Yeah.
look, not obviously not everyone. Everyone experiences
Yes.
things differently, but like I would generally say across the board, very horny. So whenever Ash gets his tee shot, he is like so horny. And I have a much better sex drive with him now because I'm obsessed with him and I love it. But
Life drives it.
yeah, well, thankfully, yes, that's how it happened. Because I thought beforehand that I was like very kind of not into sex, but it was because I just wasn't enjoying sex that I was having. Now I love it. But I am also very busy. I'm very work focused, and so not that he isn't, he is as well. But the testosterone just like takes over. He gets really horny, and so it's a great outlet for him to just go and like have sex with some other people, and it means it's not anything other than sex. And I know that, and we communicate it really well, and it's good because like it makes me not feel pressure to like live up to that high sex drive if I'm not in that world at that time. And it works really well. And we kind of go in waves. So whenever he has his tee shot, we kind of like he's definitely we're more open.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're in a place at the moment we've been talking about a lot, and I'm very busy and I don't get a lot of time. And I've been traveling a lot with work lately, with doing tours and gigs and stuff over interstate. And I've been finding it really hard to be open because I am a little bit demisexual and I want a connection with people, which is hard being open because you don't want too much of a connection because that's not in our rules. It's just sex. I'm not polyamorous. I don't want a relationship with another person. But in order to feel safe and enjoy sex I like to have like a connection there.
Yeah.
So I do find being open sometimes a little bit challenging because I have to find the right person.
Yeah.
It's not transactional for me in the way that I'm like, okay, I just come, and gays are so transactional sometimes with sex.
Yes.
Gay men,
Yes.
especially cis gay men.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And so I have not explored the openness as much as Ash does because he finds it a lot easier to have more like transactional sex. And also I think because he is trans and the people that are like, there's a lot of stuff with like the community towards trans people. There's a lot of chases, there's a lot of fetishizing that goes on. And so
I actually didn't know that.
oh yeah,
No, I
this
didn't
you
know
should get Ash on. He'll be able to talk all
Okay,
about it.
definitely.
So there's a lot of people that just see it as like like a kink thing or like a fetish thing that they just want to like, I want to explore it. And like you gotta understand this is fucking people underneath this that you are that you are having sex with. It's not just a way to have fun and explore something new. This is a person that you are, and it happens a lot.
I understand kinks, but it's also so
Yeah, but
derogatory in those
like
ways.
being trans is not a kink. It's a fucking person,
No,
okay?
Yeah.
And so you just that happens. But also on the apps, there's a lot of people, like a lot of cis gays are a bit transphobic, I would say, underlining, and they're like, I would never do that, or I don't like pussy or whatever. I'm gay, blah blah blah, and they're very about that, whatever.
We definitely
We need to go. Yeah, there's so much about all of this, but it does kind of wean out a little bit the people that do message Ash, because obviously a lot of that. But then there's also the people that are genuinely really down to earth people that are very respectful of trans people, and they've either been with someone trans before, or if they haven't, they're very open and like very lovely. Whereas, so he sleeps with some really cool people. I mean, we talk about everyone we sleep with. We have like a little D&M about it because it's really fun.
Yeah.
So if you have slept with my boyfriend, I know everything. You're welcome. So the people that are messaging him, I feel like he gets like some really cool people. Whereas like in the cis gay world, which I feel like because I'm cis and present very gay, very twink as well.
I just want to maybe like say what cis is, because
yes, so cis. When I say cis, I mean like cisgendered would generally mean that you identify with the gender that was assigned to you at birth. So I, for example, was assigned male at birth because I have male genitalia or whatever, biologically, blah blah blah, or whatever. Which again, I mean, I say I'm cisgender, but I'm also pretty gender fluid. When I say I'm cisgender, I actually generally say that I don't say I'm gay, I say I'm queer.
Yeah.
I fall, oh my God, shut up. My birds. I fall more under the queer umbrella, I would say, because I don't, as I'm going to say about like Grindr and stuff, if you are, which obviously you guys, like Grindr's not a thing, unfortunately, for women and there's like lesbian vibe. Is Field, Field's still everyone, isn't it?
No, and then
It's annoying.
Look, we've been out of the game for a while, so
Yeah.
I don't know what there is anymore.
Well,
but
Grindr is it's a kind of a toxic place, and I find that because I present twink cis gay, a lot of the guys that message me, which I actually don't get a lot of traction on there, I think I'm a little too weird, like a bit too queer looking sometimes. They just want to fuck. And they're very transactional about it, and that's just not my vibe. So I do struggle with the openness a little bit, and we've been talking about it lately, just how I navigate that. And because I'm really competitive, I don't know, I get really competitive with Ash because I'm like, fuck, and it's really toxic. I'm talking to my therapist about it. We're trying to do, and Ash and I talk about it. We talk about it a lot, and I feel like every month we have to bring it up, and I have to be like, I'm getting really competitive about you sleeping with lots of guys, and I haven't slept with anyone.
I see. This is the thing. I feel like I would personally be fine with it if it's me doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it's my partner doing it, then
you get competitive.
That would be
if you're a
hard,
competitive nature, and it is hard. And I will say that I do find it difficult at times, but I got to remind myself. I think the thing that's really good about it is that you got to put yourself in your partner's shoes. And think about it in the way that, as I say, like Ash gets horny. Sorry, Ash. I'm just exposing
Oh,
you.
hello, horny.
And like it's a great outlet for him to get that out of his system. And it's not in a way that he's seeking it for like anything other than just like a bit of fun, really. And I like that he can explore that. I want to explore that myself as well. And so I have to just remind myself that it's not a competition.
Yeah.
And in the same way that I want to explore, unfortunately, I'm not having as much luck. But hey, if you see my beautiful headshot, which Ash took, by the way, on the
so
pod, and
cute.
you're like, damn, he's cute. I'd love to get a drink with Bailey and explore his openness. Then hit me up, honestly. But I will say, like, I do like to like have a drink maybe beforehand, get to
Yeah.
know someone, but so I feel more
That's the
safe.
demisexual side coming out.
Because, sometimes there's a lot of pressure in the gay scene with performance and things like that, depending on your position, whether you're a top or a bottom or your verse or side.
And what are you?
I'm in my top
Sorry,
era. I'm in my top era at the moment. I'm mainly top at the moment because of my partner and I. But we do other stuff as well, obviously. And I loved your conversation last week about like how sex is more than penetration.
That was my favorite story.
So lovely. And thank God I love hearing about it. Obviously, I say I'm top, but we do other stuff. Obviously, that's what sex is all about.
Top and bottom is so definite.
Yeah.
definitive,
And some
like-
people, it is that. They get heaps of pleasure from either topping. They don't like things penetrating them. Totally fine.
And again,
And vice versa.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about with that movie. Sorry, just really
Oh my God,
quickly.
the tissue.
Yeah, tissue, but it was a flower. It was a
It was
flower.
a flower.
This movie. I was
Flowers,
such a young girl,
way
but-
more beautiful. I can see that.
Oh my
That would turn me
God.
on too.
But it is just about that
Yeah,
connection
it
that
really
can
is.
actually just make someone, feel
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
close to.
top and bottom really comes into the like more
The gay
scene,
scene. It
the
really
gay scene,
does.
because our scene is like
Well,
very what is sex? It
exactly.
can literally
It can be
be
anything.
and I think
And like
yeah.
fingers that's sex, babe. That's penetrative sex. It's and
Yeah.
it's
100%.
sometimes way better.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
And I have been a bottom most of my
Yeah.
life, but mainly because I mean TMI, but like I had a lot of trouble with topping in the past,
Yeah.
and so if I don't feel safe with someone, I didn't feel like I could perform well, and so I would just bottom by default.
I
Just
totally
because
get
like
that.
that was easier.
I feel like if I was in your situation, I'd probably be
And
the exact
also,
same.
I mean,
yeah.
gay sex is a bit different. There's the things that you're putting things into sometimes are a bit different shapes, sizes, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it can be a bit difficult to get in there sometimes. So
Yeah.
I was struggling with that with people, and so I just got in my head a little bit about it. So I would mainly just bottom, but I'm definitely in my top era at the moment. I would say I'm verse now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling way more confident with topping, and I love it now.
Hey.
But I also love all kinds of sex. Like I
Just also like
explore everything.
with the person, the vibe,
Yeah.
what happens. Like, let's just explore people.
It's
and
so
what feels
nice.
good in that
And when
moment.
you're really comfortable with that person and they are communicative and the love of your life, you can explore whatever you want and it's fucking beautiful.
safe
Right, so
space.
we're getting Ash on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can come
He'll
back
love
and we
it.
can do a little couple
Yes, I would
episode.
fucking love that.
Yes.
Like
That'd
we
be so
need,
sweet.
we need more Bailey.
No,
Definitely,
shut up.
we definitely do.
That's
I'm sure
so
the
sweet.
listeners are absolutely loving it right now because we've
Yes.
had so much fun.
I've
over
had so
these-
much fun.
How have
honestly.
we done? Like we're putting this out as 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is going to be the second
Obviously.
episode.
Yeah.
But
Obviously.
I am like literally obsessed with your
Thank
story.
you. That means a lot to me because I feel like sometimes I get this weird imposter syndrome just in general in life, even in the queer community,
So do
where I feel like,
You have to
"Ugh,
defend yourself.
yeah,
still,
I'm
and you,
like-
have to justify yourself. And
yeah,
you're like,
I'm like, is my story even like worth it? Like, who
Yeah.
cares or whatever? But like, everyone's
Yes.
story is beautiful
That
and
is
worth
the
being
point
told.
of this podcast.
And
Everyone's
I really have,
story.
I have really resonated with listening to it. So thank you for
Yeah.
doing this.
Oh,
thank
It's
you
really
so
good.
much. Honestly.
okay. We're about to wrap up, but I do just want
Yeah.
to quickly plug
Yes.
your Christmas show.
Yes, I am doing a Christmas cabaret. It's called Aubrey Haive Yourself a Merry Christmas. And I'm doing Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Sorry if you're anywhere else. I can't afford those flights. Sorry. But
candidness.
yeah, but I'm very excited. I did it last year for Christmas, like very last minute. But this year I've had a bit more time to prepare for it, and it's gonna be a cute little Christmas cabaret, singing some Christmas carols. I love Christmas carols because they're like kind of that like traditional sound, but they're like kind of jazzy.
Love jazz.
I just love the music behind it. It's kind of music theatery, but then you can kind of put like a contemporary twist on it if you want to. I like it. And so doing a bit of that. I'm at Pride of Our Footscray in Melbourne. If you're here on the 13th of December, I'm in Sydney on the 16th of December in Claire's Kitchen on Oxford Street, right where all the fags are.
Yay.
And then I'm doing 3 shows in Brisbane at Pip Theatre on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. Please come. I'm really nervous about selling tickets like interstate because that's not where I'm from. It's not where I do drag. So I would really, if you are interstate and you're listening, please come. I would really love it. I would love to see you, and it's gonna be a camp all time.
Oh, you won't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we need to book tickets.
It's at 8 p.m.
Okay, so if you want to
Thank
come see
you.
all of us.
Yes, you'll be there. Maybe I'll get you up. We'll do a little podcast moment.
3 hours later.
Yeah. No, I actually have a gig after now, which is ridiculous because booked and blessed. So I can't, but otherwise I would. I know, but yeah, I'm very excited for it. Please come along, and yeah, follow me on social media as well. I'd really appreciate that.
What's your socials?
So Bailey Dunnage is my boy account, or whatever a boy is. And my drag account is at Aubrey Haive. That is Aubrey with a B, not a D, but I do have one. And Haive is Haive. Give me a follow because I'm famous.
Stop.
It's true.
What
it's
does
true.
Rupaul say at the end?
If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
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 We love them. And I love gay women as well. Truly. And this year has been like the rise of the gay women, Killing the Scene, Chapel Roan, and
Even Chriselle.
yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Everything is gay. I'm living.
Gay people.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Cheers
And
to that.
cheers to gay people.
Cheers.
I spilt it.
Okay. Right.
Cheers to that. Thank you so much for coming on the pod today. We absolutely love
My
you.
pleasure.
And I'm sure the listeners out there are absolutely going to fall in love with you just as much as us. Please DM, leave a comment, just, I guess, give some feedback of what you think. But thank you so much for today.
No, thank you for having me. Yeah, I would like to hear what people think as well.
Yeah.
So please let us know.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on another episode of
Wait.
You're queer?